Hello and welcome to Live from a Bus. I am Charlie. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Every week I ride a different bus through London and provide commentary. Today we are doing the 139 from Baker Street to Waterloo and hopefully going to catch a Waterloo sunset. So get your tickets ready, we're going on a ride. So here we're looking at the statue of Sherlock Holmes. With a lovely sunset behind it. This is a statue done by John Doubleday, and as you can see with the lovely rooftops behind him, this is Arthur Conan Doyle's famous Victorian detective. 221B is the address that we've gone close by near our bus stop where this fictional character lived. I say fictional, I keep on saying fictional because many visitors to London, well not many, but you hear stories of people coming to Baker Street and believing him to be a real detective. So we know that he's fictional. There's many famous fictional characters in London, Sherlock Holmes being one. But this statue is beautiful. It's by John Doubleday and it was done in 1999 in bronze. It's 3 meters high and it's a great meeting point just outside of Baker Street. Whoops, I think that's my phone. Sorry, hang on a second. Oh look, it's Sherlock Holmes.
It is strange, but not entirely unpleasant, to find myself standing here for all eternity. And you will, I am sure, have already deduced that I am visited by numerous friends and admirers, for many of them have rested on my right foot. You will observe that the bronze has become quite polished, rather in the manner of some European saints whose statues I have seen. Not that I am claiming any sainthood for myself. I have not in fact been here long. My likeness was captured by the distinguished British sculptor Mr. John Doubleday, and far be it from me to cavil, but it is perhaps a shame that we never met. He has made me as tall as my old enemy Moriarty, although the truth is that Moriarty loomed over me on the 2 occasions we encountered one another, and if you read my stories, you will never once find me wearing a deerstalker hat. That was the work of Mr. Sidney Paget, who provided the illustrations for Strand magazine, and frankly, he has a great deal to answer for. Nor did I ever smoke a pipe such as the one I am holding here. Again, it is perhaps wrong of me to quibble, but facts have always been of the first importance to my work, and you might like to know that it was an American actor, William Gillette, who portrayed me 1,300 times on the stage, who always used a calabash. The curved stem allowed him to deliver his lines without interference, and the image has subsequently stuck. Otherwise, I make no complaint. I sometimes wish that Mr. Doubleday had been persuaded to create a second effigy of my old friend and companion, Dr. Watson, as I miss having him by my side. And would it have been possible, I wonder, to have faced the other way? It is quite frustrating to hear the traffic roaring past behind me, but to be unable to turn round to see for myself what strange vehicles the 21st century has devised. But here I stand. People come out of the station. I watch them as they go about their business in the bureau de change before me, or slip in and out of the cafe just to my right. I see and I observe. Only yesterday there was a man, a dentist from Camberwell, who was quite clearly intending to murder his wife and escape with his mistress, a trapeze artist, to northern France. How do I know all this? Well, it was elementary. But did he succeed? That I will never know.
So sorry about that quick call, that was just my old mate Sherlock Holmes. Are you ready to take the 139? Let's go. Baker Street Station. Baker Street Station was one of the first underground railway lines, and it opened on the 10th of January 1863. Here you can see the Circle Line, the Bakerloo Line, the Jubilee Line and the Metropolitan Line, and this original entrance from 1912, which is grade 2 listed. So just round the corner here we're going to see the famous, where it used to be, sadly moved in the last 6 months, but used to be the headquarters of all of Transport for London's lost property. Sherlock Holmes Museum there. Now, the Sherlock Holmes people wanted to get 221B, that famous address, but they didn't get 221B, they couldn't. It was taken up by Abbey National PLC. But eventually they got a few doors down, which is this museum you see here. And they have got a blue plaque, not an official blue plaque, but they got permission to put 221B on it from Westminster Council. So this is where you can go and visit Sherlock Holmes and all the souvenirs around him. So today we're going to be taking the 139. The 139 is a 24-hour service that goes from Golders Green to Waterloo. We're not going to be taking it all the way from Golders Green to Waterloo. We're going to be taking just a section of it from here, Baker Street, to Waterloo. Hopefully in time for a Waterloo sunset, so look forward to that. Coming through an area known as Marylebone now, and you can see the sun is about to set in front of us. Lots of Georgian properties on the left and right, mainly offices in this area, but some residences too. If you look up to the left, you can see that John Lennon and George Harrison are remembered here. They worked in a studio that was in this location. Baker Street is in the city of Westminster. There's 2 boroughs in central London, the city of Westminster and the city of London. The city of Westminster is specialised for royalty, government and entertainment. The city of London is the small part of the city dedicated to business and finance. The square coming up on the right is Portman Square, built between 1765 and 1784 on land belonging to Henry William Portman. There's a drinking fountain in there, named after John James Hamilton, the MP for Sudbury. So the next stop is Selfridges, and you may have heard of Selfridges if you've watched Mr. Selfridge. Many of you, I'm sure, have. Harry Gordon Selfridge was the man that brought Selfridges to London, and it was really the first American-style department store. What I mean by that is the whole idea before Selfridges is that you would go to these shops along Oxford Street and you would ask the staff member, oh, I'd like some socks please, and then go and get you some socks. This was the first time that goods were laid out for people to lift up and have a little look at. He was also, apparently, some say, the originator of the phrase, the customer is always right. Harry Gordon Selfridge set up this beautiful Selfridges store in 1908, and he pioneered the idea of a launch for a store. This was the first time we had seen a launch. He dismantled the idea that consumerism was strictly an American phenomenon. It's the second largest department store in London after Harrods. Coming down Oxford Street now. Oxford Street is the longest shopping street in Europe. It connects Marble Arch behind me with Tottenham Court Road at the other end, where you can see Centre Point in the distance. Look at the beautiful entranceway to Selfridges right here. The popularity of Oxford Street comes from the time where Marble Arch is the site of the Tyburn Tree, and the Tyburn Tree was a public execution point for many years. Many public hangings took place. People would come in from miles around. They were like the rock concerts of their day, and therefore there was an increased footfall along this main access road, Oxford Street, up to the Tyburn Tree. Entrepreneurial business owners therefore set up shop, allowing them to peddle their wares to people going for a good day out at a public hanging. Oxford Street is where the middle price shops are, Regent Street is where the posh shops are, and Bond Street, which is coming up on the right, are where the even posher shops are. But if you have a flagship department store, Regent Street. Those areas in London, central London, known for shopping. You can see there's not many cars out on the streets. Oxford Street has now been designated just for public vehicles, taxis, goods vehicles, and of course classic buses like this one. Coming up to Oxford Circus station now. Oxford Circus is not a circus, don't expect lions and monkeys. It's just in a circle shape. Circus comes from the Latin for circle. It's one of the busiest tube stations, underground stations. 43,000 people per hour at peak times. The traffic system, the pedestrian system here was brought in from Tokyo. You can see how people, everything goes red for the pedestrians and then it all goes green, so everyone walks into the middle of the road at once. We're on Regent Street now. Now this is where all the posh shops are, but also a very famous toy store. It's called Hamley's Toy Store, and it was created by William Hamley in 1760. 7 floors of toys. An incredible place, and famous all over the world. On the left here we have Liberty's department store, and you can see it's made in this lovely Tudoresque style out of an old ship. You can see the grandeur of Regent Street as we approach the end of it towards Piccadilly Circus. Just check out this Regency curve on the right. This was all built by John Nash as a processional route for the Prince Regent. On the left you have the district of Soho, and on the right you have the district of Mayfair. Traditionally Soho was the working class neighbourhood, Mayfair was the posh neighbourhood, and it used to be that the posher shops appeared on the left here to attract the patrons of Mayfair, not the scallywags of Soho. Veeraswamy coming up on the right with the purple flag. Calls itself the first Indian restaurant in the UK. Posh Indian style food, that's where you go. Look carefully behind me, you might be able to see these beautiful John Nash wreaths made in Portland stone. These were created by John Nash for the Prince Regent as part of that processional route, and the detail on them is just stunning. Coming into Piccadilly Circus now, you'll see on the left the first electric lighting, advertising lighting in the world. Now, originally in 1910 when it was erected, it was neon lights displaying British brands such as Bovril. Now we see these big screens showing a variety of different international brands like Samsung and Coca-Cola. Piccadilly Circus is the centre of really the entertainment district. Coming out of one side of it, you've got Shaftesbury Avenue, which is where all the theatres are. On the other side, you've got Leicester Square, which is where all the cinemas are. And down another street, you've got Haymarket, which will take you to Trafalgar Square. But Piccadilly Circus is known as this really busy place. There's a colloquial British expression. They say it's like Piccadilly Circus, and that just means it's really busy. No one knows what direction they're going in. Really, really becomes exciting and comes to life at night. Right here you can see the statue of the Angel of Christian Charity, also known as Eros, and it's said that if you were to propose to your loved one underneath that statue, you would have love forevermore. Lillywhite, the sports store, apparently where the royal family get their sports equipment. Straight ahead of us, Leicester Square, where you have all the theatre. You can see it's very busy coming out of lockdown. All the cinemas, when you have a premiere, that's where it happens. All the red carpets get rolled out in the middle of the square. This was designed by John Nash too, the Theatre Royal Haymarket. Phantom of the Opera playing at Her Majesty's Theatre on the right, the only theatre that will change its name when we have a male on the throne. It will come His Majesty's Theatre. As the light turns down, we're coming into Trafalgar Square. Canadians look left, you'll see your national flag as part of Canada House, the headquarters of the Canadian government and business, right here on this prestigious address in Trafalgar Square. Trafalgar Square is officially the centre of London, and it they were winged rats, and he ordered that it became illegal to feed pigeons at Trafalgar Square. You can see not many are left, however you do see a few rebellious ones still hanging out on the corner. At 11 o'clock each day, a man arrives there in a white van and he flies 2 hawks across the square. This is to scare away the pigeons. Look at the lovely Nelson's column here, flanked by Edwin Landseer lions. The lovely 7-ton bronze lions here were designed by Edwin Landseer, who is a wildlife artist. It took him 10 years to create them. St Martin's in the Field Church there, and the National Gallery lit up. Very romantic. Charing Cross Station there to the right, with the beautiful Amber Hotel above it. Victorian Railway Station, with a memorial in the front there. The Eleanor Cross. That was Edward I's dedication to his first wife. Many people say Charing Cross actually comes from the French cher reine, which means dear queen in French. Cher reine, Charing. You can see the connection. Coming down the Strand now. Strand is Old English for beach. Doesn't quite look like a beach, but the side of the Thames used to come right up to here. So this was literally the waterfront, Strand. Strand is known for a lot of theatres, a lot of shops, and what you'll soon see, a famous Savoy Hotel. So we're coming up to our final stop, Waterloo. After the battle, not the ABBA song. And here's where we're going to actually see the sunset over London. This is one of the best sights in London, and really the best scene from the front seat, the top deck of a London double-decker bus. Check this out. On our right we have the City of Westminster, the area specialised for government and politics. You can see Big Ben under the scaffolding there, the sun setting just behind it, that lovely bridge at the Jubilee bridges, pedestrian bridges, and the pink London Eye there, almost matching that beautiful sunset. On the left, the glitter ball that is the City of London. Those skyscrapers that came up with financial money, and the classic St Paul's Cathedral, finished in 1710. The Oxo Tower shines bright with its red O, X and O. It was the only piece of advertising that you will find across this river. It is illegal to advertise across the Thames. The architects of the Oxo Tower said, no, our building is simply shaped with an O and an X and an O as the windows. And this is our final stop, ladies and gentlemen. So getting on a bus, you need to tap in. It'll take £1.55 off your card. Getting off a bus, you don't have to tap out. It's the same price, whatever length your journey. If you get on 2 buses within 1 hour, still just £1.55. That was a new policy that Sadiq Khan, our current mayor, brought in about 8 months ago. So you have the London Eye, one of my favourite views between the Hayward Gallery there and the Shell building. It's the London Eye framing Big Ben. Take a look. So here we are on Waterloo Bridge. This is where we see our Waterloo sunset. And that's what inspired the Kinks song, Waterloo Sunset. You can see the tide of the Thames goes up and down 25 feet every day. We're experiencing low tide right now. Leo Villarreal instigated and has designed the longest art installation in the world. It's called Illuminated River, and it lights up 9 of London's bridges, including this one, Waterloo Bridge. So that was Live from a Bus. I hope you've enjoyed it. Every week we stream a different live bus journey from a different location, sometimes in London, sometimes elsewhere. If you want to see more of these, click subscribe and follow for more. Can't wait to see you again.